Good morning, children. The previous class we have studied about the Himalayan river systems. Example, we have studied about Ganga and Indus. Now coming to the third important river system, which is the Brahmaputra river. Brahmaputra is also one of the largest rivers here. But comparing the Indus and the part of Brahmaputra, very smaller region is flowing through our country. It actually originates from the Tibetan regions. Okay, Brahmaputra rises in the Tibet regions, that is the southern part of China or the northern part of India, the north of India, the southern part of China, the Tibet region. Tibet region, we know that these regions there are mountains, Himalaya mountains south of the Tibet also. Okay, the Brahmaputra rises in the Tibet east of the Mansarovar lake. There is a Mansarovar lake on the east. From there the river originates. Okay, river Brahmaputra originates from the Mansarovar lake in the Tibet region or Tibet region. Okay, the east of the Tibet region we can find the Mansarovar lake. From that the river Brahmaputra originates. Okay, it's also other two rivers we have studied, Indus and Ganga, also originating nearby it. It's not all together here, but almost near to it. Other two rivers, Ganga and Indus, also are flowing from. So here we can find most. It is a very large river, but its large portions are flowing through Tibet only, Tibetan region, only entering India in a little course of its river entering India. It is flowing towards the east direction, parallel to the Himalaya mountains. It flows to the east direction, parallel to the Himalaya mountains. We have studied earlier class that there is a water divide. If there is an upland or the mountainous region or plateau, the river will be divided. Okay, so the water, that is called the water divider. Okay, so the south of the river Brahmaputra in Tibetan region, there is a Mount Himalaya, so that a river is flowing parallel to the Mount Himalayas towards the east direction. But on reaching here on the extreme east direction, there is a Namcha Parva. It's a mountain peak, Namcha Parva, and it takes a U-turn from here. When it is flowing parallel, it takes a U-turn. Okay, it takes a U-turn and enters into India. Okay, from Arunachal Pradesh, it is entering India. It takes a U-turn and enters in India through Arunachal Pradesh. This region, this river is called Dihang. Brahmaputra, when enters into Arunachal Pradesh and this region, it is called Dihang. Also Lohit, other tributary. There are many tributaries are formed in this region. Lohit and is another the tributary here, and also Dibang. These are all other tributaries, and they all join with the Brahmaputra in Assam. The smaller tributaries all join with the Brahmaputra in Assam region. So in Tibet the river carries a smaller volume of water because this region is dry area. Okay, plateau region, we know that the Tibetan plateau region, it is dry area, so that there is no much volume of water. But in India, where these are flowing through, or this course of this river has a very heavy rainfall regions. Okay, so rainfall is heavy in these regions of Brahmaputra in India. So it passes through a region of high rainfall, and here the river carries a large volume of water and considerable amount of silt also. Silt also is carried away, soil erosion also takes place here, and largely we can find a flood in Brahmaputra river. In India, flood also occurs largely here in the rainy season. Assam and parts of Arunachal Pradesh also, but in the large destruction is taking place in Assam region. Here we can find many riverine islands also, because it moves in in a zigzag position. It's not continuously. There are many turns and twists in this region. So that in Assam region, so that many riverine islands, small islands also are formed here. So there is a world's largest riverine island formed by the Brahmaputra river, that is Majuli in Assam. Largest riverine island we can find in Assam in the world, that is called Majuli. Sometimes it may be disappeared in the future also. Our geologists say due to the climatic changes, this riverine island may be disappeared in future also. So every year during the rainy season, this river overflows. We know that Tibetan region is almost many of the it's not carrying much water, but when it enters India, in the Assam region especially, it overflows on its banks, causing a large or widespread devastation due to floods in Assam and Bangladesh also. We know Brahmaputra enters into Bangladesh too. From India it enters to Bangladesh, and Ganga merges with Brahmaputra in Bangladesh. Ganga and Brahmaputra merges together in Bangladesh, and it enters into the Bay of Bengal together. Okay, so here there are also the Brahmaputra is marked by the huge deposit of silt on the bed, causing the river bed to rise. All the both sides of the river beds are very high because a large quantity of silt is brought by the river and deposited here. Okay, so that the both sides of the river Brahmaputra beds are very high. Okay, so in the coming class we will study about the peninsular rivers. Where is the peninsular rivers? South India. We have so far studied about the Himalayan rivers. Once again, important Himalayan rivers are Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. So tomorrow we will study about the peninsular rivers.